Hi everybody. As promised in this video, we're going to address three characteristics of the self-actualized individual, and you'll see why in a moment. Number 9, increased identification with the human species. Number 10, improved interpersonal relations. And number 11, more democratic character structure. Okay, so I hope you see how these three characteristics relate. Now, we can see these characteristics, let's say, from two perspectives. Like one perspective might be that this is what you want to see manifested in your life. These are your goals, right? This is the kind of person you want to become. You want to be that person that feels identified with the human species, right? You don't put people in boxes. You actually relate to people, everyone, despite their background, where they're coming from, despite their political differences, okay? You still see yourself as related to all these people, all human beings. That's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. The opposite, it's quite pathological. And this is very well studied and documented. This is something we actually talked about. I think it was characteristic number 2 when we exhibit increased acceptance of others. And we read from Maslow's book that it's a mistake to put people in boxes. It's not only a mistake, but it's pathological. It does not lead to mental health self-actualization. So you don't want to do that. You want to do the opposite. You want to feel identified with everybody. You want to see people, strangers, people from different backgrounds, races, sexual orientation, political affiliation, you want to see them as brothers and sisters. Why not? Why not? Now, this might be outrageous to you. And outrageous, you would go like, no, I will never associate myself with somebody who votes for the other political party. This is very um, prominent, unfortunately, in the United States, in American politics today, unfortunately. People don't see each other as soon as they realize they have different political affiliations, they don't see themselves as friends, as members of the same species, which is really, really, really sad. You don't want to be that person. You want to be the opposite. So, once again, this is one way of looking at these characteristics as standards, right? The kind of person you want to become, the kind of characteristics you want to manifest, right? Your life needs to manifest. So, number 10, then that it's definitely going to improve your interpersonal relations. Definitely. And it doesn't mean that you're going to be like this super friendly person. Okay, that's not really it. It's not like you're going to be this person who has like tons of friends. No, but simply the relationships you have. You can have 10 friends, maybe 2 friends, maybe more or less. Doesn't matter. These relationships are going to be better now, much, much, much better. And by better, I mean you're going to be able to talk to these people about everything really in your life, and um, you won't see them, you won't put them in boxes. You won't see them as a role. You won't limit their value in your life in terms of the role they play in your life. This is also something we addressed in characteristic number 2. So definitely that's going to improve your relationship with everybody, your family, and so on. And 11, more democratic character structure. You're going to be a person who appreciates and seeks teamwork, right? Working with other people, collaboration. You become to be interested in these things. Um, Personally, I gotta say it, and probably this is a confession I have to make. I've always been more comfortable working by myself. But I've seen over the years, I've seen the value of working with other people, and and appreciating not only their perspective, but their skills, their talents, and what they can bring to the table. If you have an idea, a project, let's say, and you share it with other people, and you involve other people in your project, your project is going to be so much more, so much better, and because you're going to have a different input, different ideas. It doesn't mean that, okay, we're going to end up doing whatever people want to do. No, you have an idea. It's your project. Let's say it's your project. But if you invite other people, make them part of the project, you have to be willing to listen to a better idea. Maybe somebody might have a different way of looking at the project, or wants to take the project in a slightly different direction, and this person tells you why, and you can see the value of their input and their ideas, and you're like, okay, well, that's really cool. You you appreciate that, you value that, you incorporate that into your project, whatever that project is, right? But I hope you see my point. You begin to appreciate working with other people. You see other people's talents, skills, what they can contribute to your life and your projects. And this is something that I'm learning. I'm learning to do. Gosh, if you were more familiar with my life, you'll see that this is definitely the case. I'm pushing myself in that direction because I know it's for my own good. So that's the kind of person you want to become. And I was talking at the beginning about two different perspectives, right? You want to see this characteristic as goals, standards. Okay, I want to be that person. I'm going to work towards developing that way of looking at people, like see them as members of the same species. Like we're all human beings. We're all like a family, and we should be mindful of each other. We should support each other, and so on. You should not people in boxes. You should see how your relationship with people are improving, are getting better. The conversations you're having with them, they're much more meaningful, they're more interesting and less frivolous, less I don't know, superficial. You're really, really having a good time with your friends and your family, and you develop this capacity to work with other people, obviously without giving up your independence, right, and your own ideas, and your own particular way of doing things. After all, your life is your life. You are your main determinant, right? So okay, so that's one way of looking at these characteristics. But another way is, and this is probably for you who are a professional, or on your way of becoming a professional mental health therapist, you can see these two as a way to assess your patients, or assess other people. If you're a non-professional, you can see where people are in their lives by paying attention to how they relate to people, how they talk about other people. You can immediately tell, this person is not in a good place. When someone says, I don't need people much. I'm happy with my dog or my two cats or something like that. I don't need friends. Okay, well, you can tell yourself that person is not in a good place. Or if you see people being like very, very independent, and they don't want to share their projects, their ideas with anybody, they want to do their own thing at work, and so on. Okay, that's not a good sign. So you can use these characteristics in those two ways to assess yourself where you are, existentially speaking, and obviously psychologically speaking. If you are that person, right? Okay, maybe like me, you like to do things on your own, and that's the way you've been doing things, so you're comfortable with that, and now you're assessing yourself and thinking, gosh, maybe I should listen to people more, and maybe I should invite people in my projects, my ideas, or at least consider what they say, if they can give me an opinion or something like that. That's good. That is great. That you should do that. You assess yourself with these characteristics, or you assess other people, and you know where they are. Of course, The idea is not to judge people just for the sake of judgment, right? But uh, but I always say it's not. There's nothing wrong with judging, especially when it is about somebody you care about. Okay, here we go. Improve the interpersonal relations. You have this friend who is struggling with something, with life, not feeling great, feeling depressed, or feeling angry, or whatever, feeling lost. And you consider this characteristic, and with this characteristic, you assess your friend, and you know where your friend is, and you know he's not in a good place. Hey, you can tell your friend, hey, dude, I notice you always say these things about people that you don't need people much. Man, that's not good. I've been studying Maslow psychology, and he says that this is very, very important for one to develop this attitude of looking at people as members of the same, like you are a member of the same species, like we're all in this together, like people say, right? You have to stop putting people in boxes, and you normally do these things. You label people really easily, or you see people in terms of the role they play in your life. That's not good, man. I've been reading this good stuff about Maslow. I've been watching these really cool videos that this philosophy professor is putting together, whatever, something like that. And you can have this conversation with your friend. And trust me, your friend might end up appreciating your input, right? Because in the end, it's about, I think it's not about judgment, it's about caring. If you know the person you care about is in the wrong place and you know why, I think the right thing to do is to say it, right? That can only improve your relations, your interpersonal relations, because the opposite, which is sad, what most people do is they always have these superficial conversations about stuff, right? The weather, the football game. Hey, how was your day? I was good. And it's all so superficial. People don't dare to take their relationship to the next level, to a more personal level, a more meaningful level, because that's what it requires. It requires to do a lot of listening and a lot of speaking, right? And speaking about things that matter, like life, like mental health. That's all I have for you now. I did not provide any quote from the textbook, just because if you watch the previous videos, okay, I think I supplied enough content from this book to support what I'm saying. There'll be one more video, and we'll be done with the characteristics of the self-actualized individual. But I might have more videos to make about this book and about Maslow. So for now, I'm going to say bye, and thank you for watching.